Hello and welcome to the Deception Podcast, attempting to make an audio show out of a visual art form since 2013. My name is Jonti Sparrow. I'm on my own this side today. Aaron's not well, but on the internet we have Jordan O'Grady.
Hello.
And
back
also
off the holidays.
And back off his jollies.
Yeah.
Did you have a nice time?
Yeah, it was good.
Where were you again?
Tan.
Turkey?
Portugal.
Close
Pissed
enough.
it down for 5 days.
Oh, never mind. Also, we have our guest host today, all the way from Alakazam HQ. It's Mr. Dave Loosley.
Hello, how are we?
Good, thank you. We've been trying to get Dave on for quite a while, actually, but as you could probably imagine, he's a very busy man.
I'm not allowed any breaks.
Yeah, you are actually sitting in that's the room you do the Alakazam vlog, isn't it? So
it is, yeah.
You're not even allowed out of that room.
Are you on your lunch break
Yeah,
now?
it's where I slept on the table.
All right, cool.
Apologies if you hear noises. I have a robot next to me today.
Yeah, there's printers going and doors creaking and all sorts. It sounds like a haunted house, to be honest, but it's
Always working. Always.
We'll smash through. We will be chatting a little bit about Alakazam and stuff later on, but we'll dive in first. We'll leave the plugs until a little less blatantly, but we'll start off with some magic news.
Traveling the world of prestigitation and bringing back the interesting bits. This is Magic News.
So first of all, then Blackpool Magic Convention have sort of put out their first sort of press release ready for next year, and it's basically just a list of names at the moment. But I just thought it'd be worth mentioning, see if there's any names that really sort of jump out at us that look interesting. Have you seen the list, guys?
Yes.
So
yeah.
they do. I mean, first of all, I love the Blackpool Convention. We go every year. You know, they always have a great lineup, to be honest. And honestly, the lineup isn't the. I've never waited for the lineup before I've got my ticket, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? You're going to go anyway, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know we're going to get all the names.
I mean, it's the environment, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
It's everything together.
But it is still nice to have a look at the list. The ones that really jump out at me is Eugene Berger's there, which I don't think he has been for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm a huge fan of him. So that'll be interesting.
So we've got Omar Pasha. Have you seen that act?
No.
It doesn't ring a bell. Is it the black art guy?
Yeah, it's like the statue act.
With the second face?
Yeah, I believe that's the
I have
one.
seen that, actually. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Amazing.
Really cool. So some of the acts are great. Now, like they fill the list out a little. Is there anything I don't think they feel they need to do? Like for instance, they've got. Let's have a look. Like they mentioned Ken Dodd. Well, of course Ken Dodd's going to be there. Do you know what I mean? I can't imagine he's the seller. You know, people aren't going to go Ken Dodd at Blackpool Magic Convention. The only one that interests me, I've highlighted it on the show notes, is a guy called Donimo. Now, I don't know whether that's either a spelling error and they meant Domino, the illusion act, or it's a spelling error and they mean Dynamo. Or there is actually a silent clown called Donimo, and if it's him, you know there's always one act at Blackpool that nobody's ever heard of, yet storms it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm putting my money on it. If that's him, it's him. He's bald with the tiniest little fluff of orange hair on top of his head, and he's just like a physical comedy clown. But he's absolutely fantastic. So if it's him, he will storm it, I'm sure.
So is it just names listed like it is on the show notes?
Yeah, basically, yeah. It's just a list of names right now, and it doesn't specify whether they're lecturers, performers. I think some of them might even just be dealers, to be honest, really. But they're just names.
Yeah, I mean, I hope Mark Mason is lecturing. He's still one of my favourite lecturers.
Yeah, but you're not sure whether they just put his name there because
he'll be there.
Going to be a stand there. So that's the only thing I'm not sure about. Sometimes they just sort of like pad the list out. Whereas I think if they listed it a bit better, maybe. But then again, like I say, you're buying a ticket anyway, aren't you?
True.
So really
true.
I've got my time off as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to put mine in until January, so but we should be all right.
I'll be working.
So you'll be working. Well, we will as well. We'll be on.
That's true.
We'll be on Jordan stand, won't we? So.
Oh yeah.
With the new release.
Shush.
Have you got? Oh no, because it's okay. It's all aboard the hype train. Ooh, no stops.
It is great. That's what I can say.
Great. Dave, don't get it out, Dave. But
what are you talking about?
You banana.
Dave's got one on him, on his person. Yeah,
I
banana.
Do.
But don't get it out because we are filming the video. But yeah, Dave's got one on his person. Is there any point? Like, are you waiting on me now for the announcement, or are you waiting When
Me?
you look, yeah.
I
'Cause
don't
I'm
know.
doing-
I think I just need to get a few bits more ready.
Yeah,
So I'm,
yeah.
I'm definitely
All right, cool.
au fait with it all. We're
All
still working. We're still working on it all. That's why.
Yeah. The product's pretty much
Oh,
done
the-
in it, but it's
yeah,
all
the
the sort of
product's
like
done.
branding and everything
Product's
we're
done and
working
ready,
on.
and there's a couple of people that's got it, like Dave, Peter. I think Alan Rorison's got one that they're just messing about with.
Oh,
They are
wicked.
awesome. They really are. I hate to hype things that people have got to wait, but
Yeah.
because I've got one, it's great.
All right, moving on. So Piff, John Vanderput, Piff the Magic Dragon, has got a headline show in Vegas.
How good is
And
that?
It's fantastic. It's come off the back of America's Got Talent, done very well. We did talk about it on the show when it was happening, but
Yeah.
magicians or variety acts had a really good run this year on the American show. Obviously Paul Zennon winning it.
Zerdin.
Paul Zerdin, sorry, winning it. Paul Zennon wasn't on it. Piff the Magic Dragon, though, didn't actually place, but it doesn't matter. He's sort of won the hearts of America. And he's got himself a show at the Flamingo in Vegas. Now, I don't know the Strip that well. You guys, I know, have both been, Jordan, a few times now. Is it a big one, the Flamingo? Is it?
I don't know where it is. Do you?
Yeah, I think it's opposite Caesars. Near Caesars. Yeah,
Right.
opposite, other side of the road. But yeah, I mean, it's one of the older casinos. I mean, I saw Nathan Burton. Does that name ring a bell? Magician.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a show. He was headlining there, and Donnie and Marie Osmond are there. So
Right.
it brings
pretty
people
cool.
in.
Yeah. So will this be? They have a few theatres there then. It's not like it's going to be Piff for an hour and then you get your pie and pea supper and then Donnie comes on. How does it work?
I think from what I was reading, he's more in not like the lounge area, but there's more of a perfect setting for him, and then there's the big stage theatre for.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I mean, his act is it's a cabaret act, isn't it? Really? Do you know what I mean? I can't. I mean, obviously he's going to have to sort of jazz it up a bit, but I can't see him pulling on a zigzag or something. Do you know what I mean? It's just I can't imagine it would fit. Fit
no,
him.
I know what you mean.
I think it's really
I'd like
amazing
to
how
go and
well
see
he's.
him, actually.
Say again.
I'd like to go and see him.
I'd love to see it. I think he's great. We worked with him down in Bristol a few years ago, and he had the room in the palm of his hand. It's fantastic. And I think the reason he's doing so well in America, it's almost like I'm being a little bit stereotypical here, but I think Americans aren't used to people sort of just like ripping into him. Do you know what I mean? I think they quite like it because I think it's a bit of a novelty.
Yeah.
Somebody being so nonchalant about their act. Do you know what I mean? I think the American sort of vibe is to be, we're brilliant, this is amazing, look at this amazing show, whereas he just comes across as like, I could be here, I could not. It doesn't.
Eating bananas and sandwiches.
Yeah, exactly. Like when and he goes, and he keeps it up constantly.
Yeah.
And I worry a little bit for him. That is that him now for 50 years? 50 years time, he's going to be walking onto whatever their Saturday night show is, Jimmy Fallon, if he's still going. A 70-year-old bloke in a dragon costume. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know. I reckon if he dressed up, people won't recognise him.
Eating
Think
soup.
if he got a suit on.
He probably doesn't know, but that's what I'm saying. Because he's always in character. It's like when he goes to a talk show or whatever. He was on like This Morning America or whatever. He's there as Piff. He's not there as John Vanderput, the guy who does Piff. And it's fine at the minute because he's I don't know how old he is, but he looks sort of like late 20s, early 30s. It's still funny.
But that's what I'm saying. Once he's got an in,
yeah,
he's in with all the producers and everything and all the shows and stuff. He could say, right, I've got another act now as well.
Yeah.
But is that a nice thing? You can take the suit off and be just John.
Yeah, I suppose it is. The only thing, and it's going to be a weird comparison, but the only thing I can think of that I've seen similar is when Paul O'Grady ditched Lily Savage. You know what I mean? I'm thinking, and he's done quite well off the back of it now, hasn't he? So I think it's possible to kind of just drop it and say, I'm done with that, done with the costume, and still carry on. So that was the only thing that made me think about it. But he's still at the very start of a long journey, isn't he? So this is something he hasn't got to worry about for a long time. But so he's doing that there at the Flamingo. Let's go for him.
Are you going next year, Dave, to Magic Live?
Undecided as yet, like personally myself, but I'm sure.
Alexander will be there. So it's work because it's a fair trip that. So as a mainly British, manufacturers, it is worth you going over. Yeah.
I think.
Well, that's-
Go on, sorry.
I was just going to say that's what Alakazam were pushing, weren't they? That you're now sort of dealing in America and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, we've recently kind of launched our American site, so it's great to go over there and spread the word and definitely push it that way. But yeah, it's great when we've got new products to the people that haven't seen them, and old products as well. To them are brand new, so it's
stuff
it's
that's
worth
done the rounds in the UK, but you can
definitely
empty some boxes off the shelf.
You say, I've got no boxes; they're all gone. All our stuff's gone.
All right, last thing we want to talk about then is Impossible. Now, to be honest, this is something I've not heard of until it popped up on Magic Week this week. But it's a show akin to the likes of The Illusionists that's doing quite well, and the what's the other one that did a tour recently? Was it called like the Masters of Magic, I think, or something like that, with Faye Presto?
Yeah, I was just going to say Faye was involved.
Champions
of Magic, that was it. Yeah. So this seems to be another one of these that are doing pretty well at the minute. It's almost like it's had a bit of a resurgence, doesn't it? This sort of stage magic as a sort of a cabaret show with a few different acts. This show's been on at the West End.
Yeah, I heard it was an incredible show and had a bit of a story behind it as well, which it made it a bit more theatrical.
Okay. Yeah,
from the eyes of like a young boy, I think it was, and how magical it seems in his eyes, and yeah, I don't really know the whole story, but it's got a couple of some of my favourite acts in it. Jonathan Goodwin.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's a little bit of like a Monkey Magic reunion.
It is a bit.
Yeah, because Ali Cook's involved as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
And Ben Hart.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a Monkey Magic, but Ben Hart's in it. The other names didn't jump out at me. The website's a bit naff. The performers page just says coming soon. So I suppose maybe they're still, because this was the lineup for the West End show, so perhaps the
some of the images look good on the gallery.
Yeah, perhaps the lineup's changing for the touring show. Sorry, the news is the fact that this is going to start touring now in the UK. But yeah, I'm a big fan of John Goodwin, big fan of Ali Cook actually, and Ben Hart. Actually, so far everything I've seen from it looks great. So I'm hoping it comes near us, that we can see.
We'll have to go.
Yeah, we'll have a little trip out, can't we? The tickets have been announced. It's running from February through till March. So, and it's kind of good, just sort of going up the M6 basically. So it's Southampton, Liverpool, Birmingham, Sunderland, Stoke, Edinburgh, and Manchester. So we'll probably go and see that at the Empire, I guess. Liverpool.
By saying that, you don't mean that they're performing on the hard shoulder.
No,
right.
Where else we got?
Just
Birmingham, Sunderland, yeah. So yeah, well, I think we're going to see that in Liverpool. Where's near for you? Is it Sunderland? Is that near you, Jordan?
No, it's probably going to be Manchester.
Yeah.
Or Birmingham.
Yeah. So I'm just going to try. I'm trying to get prices because that was the big issue with Jamie Raven's tour is that it's a bit dear.
Oh really?
Yeah. So I wonder whether let's just go stalls. It's about 30 quid. So so what you'd expect in it, somewhere between cheapest are 20, but they're up the back with a free can of oxygen, I think. And they go
and the binoculars up there.
£36.50.
They go up to £36.50. Yeah, so
that's not bad, is it?
Yeah, for a full show, you pay that for a.
Can you remember what Jamie Ravens and Dynamos were? Were they about 50 quid?
Yeah, that's it. They
45,
were
50 quid,
they were
weren't
a
they?
bit of a jump up, yeah. Whereas here you're getting sort of, from the looks of it, about 5 or 6 acts. I like the idea that it's storied as well. I didn't know that.
It sounds great. It really does. I just haven't had a chance to see it yet, but I'll pop on the motorway and see if I can catch a show.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's worth doing. Edinburgh, you go up to Edinburgh, couldn't you, for it?
Yeah, why not?
Make a day of it.
Yeah.
All right, wicked. We haven't got sounds like this week because Jordan's not pulled his finger out.
I'm sorry.
So we'll skip that. So go on then. Let's have a little plug. So Dave, if people don't know you already, you are heavily involved with Alakazam.
Yeah, I mean, I started off by releasing tricks through Alakazam.
Right.
So back.
Did you press the little button on the app?
No, I didn't, but that is there. Yeah, if you want to, if you have an idea for a magic trick, why not? I'll go on from that. Yeah.
Submit a trick
You can,
concept,
yeah.
but,
We've got a
yeah.
brand new app, and it's important, you know, it is different to the old one we have, so it's not an update. Oh, there you go. Yeah, if you are watching this on YouTube, you can see it there.
Yeah.
It's really easy to navigate. You know, you can, if you have an idea for a trick, boom, it's with us within seconds. We can have a look.
So
All the vlogs.
what else is on there? Like the vlog,
Yeah.
the shop. Can you access the actual shop from the
Yeah,
app? Or, yeah,
you can access the shop. The vlogs are on there. They're all in one place,
Yeah.
and they're becoming more and more popular. It's like
Yeah.
a relaxed
You
review.
know, if I
So,
submit a trick, who does it go to? Does it go to you?
it goes to sales@alakazam.co.uk, the email which we all can view.
You'll get hold of.
So make sure it's a good trick. But yeah,
I was just
so
going to submit you on now. That were all.
no, but I wanted to let you guys in as well on one of the latest things that we're quite excited about.
Yeah, go ahead.
For our Christmas release. So here's a reason to go onto YouTube and look at the video,
Yeah.
because I'm holding it here, and it is
Ooh.
Gold Dust Live.
Is
This
there a
is-
book about that as well? Was there a book on gold dust?
Yeah.
It'd be funny.
If you haven't been on the internet, I will update you that there are 3 books for Gold Dust, I believe, and the best of them are put in here. Now, I
This is
will
Paul,
just
so
say,
Paul, so just because there are people who won't know, this is Paul Gordon's Gold Dust.
Yeah.
The books have been everywhere. You know, they are fantastic books. But you know, you'd be amazed if you haven't heard of them. But you know, it's basically Paul's sort of, well, it's his career basically. It's a compendium, isn't it, of all the stuff he's done over the years and new stuff as well.
and it is incredible. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'll lay it down now. I don't really read a lot of books. So when I met Paul, I knew of, you know, his work. But when I actually see him and the reactions he was getting from live audience and how he structured the tricks to lead on from each other, I was, I've got to revisit that. I've got to look at that. And the fact that it's now on DVD, is even better. But also, it's the little nuances, the little touches that he has that are worth the price. You know, I was sat next to him for 3 days. We were filming, and I'm learning stuff every day. And you know, when you get to an age where you've been in magic for a while, to learn something new every day is quite rare. Yeah. So it's definitely worth it. And I'll just say the first 1,000 of these come in this lovely presentation.
Yeah, it's nice. It's like it folds out. Is it 3 discs? Is it?
Yeah, it's 3 discs, and you get 3 packet tricks with the first 1,000.
Okay.
So I think the packet tricks separately will be around about £40–45. So for £5 or £10 more, it's £50 for the whole set. These won't be around long. That's all I can say to that.
That's fantastic. So that's a Christmas release. So when you're looking at launching that?
I mean, some of the videos have started popping up, the trailers for it already. So yeah, we're hoping within the next couple of weeks that we can start taking the pre-sales for that. But yeah, it's just us that's going to be selling it. This isn't going to be going, you know, wholesale. So if you want it, check out the website. It's definitely worth it.
Yeah, that's cool.
So yeah, quite excited about that.
Very good.
We were just saying before we started recording, weren't we? But we're all sort of big fans of his stuff. I use I forget what it's called. There's so many. It uses a diminishing lift sequence. I think it might be called like diminishing not likely or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. I use that all the time. Love it. Great trick.
And the ace cutting routine he does as well. It's, I mean, everything. You watch it one after another, and you know, you start to relax and go, how can you do any more? And then boom, there's another trick, and you go, oh my god, I need to do that. I need to do that. So yeah, it's just all of the great things in one place.
Alakazam. I tell you what your actual address is. I've just got your favourites. I've just got your bookmarks. Is it Alakazam Magic?
Alakazam.co.uk.
Just alakazam.co.uk. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right, wicked. There you go. Good for that. So let's do your. Where's my button? Hold on. Here it is. This week's Mass Debate question then was actually set by our guest host last week, Steve Rowe, and said, what is more important, character or content? When you start out, it's obviously mostly about the tricks, but at what point does it become more about you? And then my little caveat to that was, does it have to become more about you? You know, does it become more about you at any point? So that was the question we asked. We had loads of you get in touch, which is great. We'll read through a few of the comments first, and then we'll have a little chat between us and see what we think. So we've had a few from Twitter. Jim Cameron has said, I think they evolved together. It's only by performing and interacting that you can see your character emerging, and then as your character forms, you become more selective or creative about your tricks. It's definitely a bilateral motion. Russ Appleby has said, "I blend a blend of both. The same tricks can fly or bomb if the character is wrong or incomplete. It can take years to fine-tune." I agree with that. Faye Presto has said, "It's the saddest thing that this question even needs to be asked. Anybody going to see a show with all that psychological stuff? No, they're going to see Derren Brown. Were the pictures of a collection of boxes or some packs of cards outside the Noel Coward Theatre? No, there was pictures of the cast. Does anyone go and see flying? No, they go and see David Copperfield fly. The tricks have to be merchantable quality for sure, but it is always about the performer." Yeah. Paul Wingham says, "I agree completely with Faye, but I do think it gets forgotten sometimes, which leads to bland, soulless performance that relies solely on the magic, which is not enough for me personally." So there's a few more we'll read on in a minute, but so I'm gonna be a bit of a devil's advocate with this. All right, so
there's a surprise.
I'll get your thoughts first. All right, so Dave, I know when we spoke about this before, you said that this is something that you touch on in your lectures, and something you're pretty passionate about.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I do agree with Faye. I mean, the tricks. I think the tricks have to be good, but I mean, it all comes down to you as the performer. I mean, I especially see it, selling magic to magicians and seeing magicians do the same tricks. What's going to make you stand out from the other person that bought the exact same trick as you? It's going to be your personality, your persona, the way you come across, the comedy moments, the beats, everything. I think it all comes down to you and not necessarily the trick. You could be doing the most simplest trick ever, but with the best personality, and people are going to remember you, and that's how you're going to get rebookings. There are magicians that say this trick's got me so many bookings and so on and so forth, but I think it's not just the effect, it's definitely the way you put it across and the way the audience have a connection with you as a performer.
Fully agree.
So you do, Jordan, you agree with that, do you?
Yeah.
Because you do hear, you're right there, you touched on something that I wanted to mention. You do hear people say, I don't know, let's think of something that's done pretty well in the last few years. Kieran's Ice, to the max. People have said, "Oh, that has got me gigs," and I can imagine it probably has. That sort of instant moment. But you're probably right. It is to an extent how that's performed.
And it's also, I mean, if you perform Kieran's Ice trick, which is fantastic, but beforehand, your approach and your way into that crowd and the way you present yourself is not great, and is actually not necessarily rude, but not enthusiastic, just going through the motions, then that moment where the magic happens, it may be weaker than if you've really built that connection with your audience, you know?
So here's the point I want to make then. Right. Is presentation important? Is character important? Is performance important? Because of the limitations we have when it comes to tricks. And what I mean by that is that every comment we've had pretty much has said character is the thing. It's all about the performance. It's all about how it's presented. If I walked into somewhere and put my hand out and a little speck of dust floated up and turned into a ball and an orb and then turned into a baby and the baby turned into an eagle and flew around and the eagle sat down and sang the Star Spangled Banner and then disappeared in a flame of smoke and I never said anything and I walked off, I would be a millionaire. If that was a trick I could do, I would be a millionaire, and it had nothing to do with how I performed it at all. I would just so is the performance something we have to do because the tricks are limited?
If you want to be remembered, then that comes down to your personality. If you want to be some guy may disappear and fly around, then I mean no personality. But if you want to go, this guy Jonti, oh my God, he did this, he made this fly. Yeah. Then I think that's the difference. You know, it's.
So if you brought a baby out my wallet.
A few people, and I forgot I'd left it in there, to be honest. A few people mention, obviously sort of have a little dig at people like David Blaine and Dynamo, who perhaps aren't the most sort of energetic characters. But they've said that, so it can still work without personality. I disagree with that. I just think it's a different personality. I think, Dynamo and
it's how he's putting himself across, without a doubt.
Yeah.
I also think it depends on you and potentially, how new you are to magic and performance and stuff like that as well. Because if you're young and you're just getting into it, you buy a trick from the shop, you read it, you go out and you perform it, and then I think over a period of time, you kind of develop. That's what I did anyway. You sort of develop your own character and your own style, and as you get a bit more confident, your own personality starts to come out a little bit more.
Right, we'll read a few more comments. Stacey Smith has said, I've often said this about variety in general. The most skilled ventriloquist in the world could drink a glass of water and read Jabberwocky and no one would care. But a good vent script could be read as a dialogue between two people and still be entertaining. Similarly, if you strip out the magic with the performance, there ought to be something left. Let it be experimental theatre, stand-up comedy, or electron metaphysics, whatever. As long as you get rid of the magic, there's still a performance there.
Yeah.
There was a guy years ago before I've been a magician since I was a little kid, but before I was working, I had a job as a waiter, and they had a magician come in for big events, Christmas days, things like that. And after a few years,
Did McDonald's do that? Do they?
yeah, they did. After a few years, like especially things like Christmas Day, where the same families would come in, this guy wouldn't even perform for them. He'd go over, have a little chat, ask the kids what they got. Oh, haven't the kids grown? Nice to see you again. Excuse me, and not actually perform any magic, and almost do the job of like a duty manager who's got some spare time. Do you know what I mean? Just a little bit of PR. Didn't actually perform any tricks. So I think there probably is something to be said, and and they were fine with that. And I think this guy just had he had his set very much. He got his 10 minutes that he did at a table.
Yeah.
So he'd do something like he'd make a frog, the little jumping frog out of a card or something like. He'd make one of them for the kids or something. He wouldn't actually perform a trick. And the table, from what I could tell, the tables didn't feel like they were getting any less of a performance.
Yeah. Go on, mate.
I was going to say, didn't we discuss about this when we were talking about residencies and stuff like that?
Yeah,
we discussed it a few weeks back, didn't we? Yeah, going back and you just end up just chatting to them, don't you?
Yeah.
Just being yourself, basically. But yeah, go on, Dave. What were you going to say?
No, I was just going, along the same lines. It goes back to people in sales as well. People buy from people, and if you come across as a nice, likable person, people want to talk to you, and that's the difference. I mean, going back to David Blaine, it's not a coincidence that he's doing those sort of tricks. They're quick, flashy tricks which go with his the whole character he wants to build. He's not doing a long triumph, like a long effect which has loads of patter, because it doesn't suit him. So I think it's important that you find the tricks that suit the personality, and then the two together are gonna fly.
I think that's a fair point. Jack Brister has said something similar, actually. I'll read that one. I think the importance of content is dependent upon the character. For example, my character tends to present what he does as skill, so the content is as important as the character. But my answer would be that character is more important overall, probably, because if you don't have the character, then the content is completely irrelevant. If you don't know who you are, your character is how you're supposed to find content that fits that character. So that's interesting. Yeah, so the content is dependent on the character there. Like I say, Jack does mostly skill-based stuff, so he's going to be doing some.
He comes in on a unicycle, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's going to be doing like
juggling
card
one knife
demonstrations and stuff. Whereas if he then went on to do, I don't know what I don't know. I suppose all magic can be presented as a display of skill to an extent, can't it? Really, I'm trying to think of something that can't.
That can't what be displayed as
like an element of skill. I suppose it's something like a really flashy change or something. Maybe something like something that was new. That pen or pencil. You'd struggle. That doesn't really come across as a display of skill. That comes across as
mentalism, maybe.
Yeah.
Mentalism.
The mentalism can quite easily go either way. I think. Again, we spoke about that last week. Mentalism is very easy to be. I'm mental, or it's body language. So mentalism. I'm trying to think of a trick that you'd struggle to play as a element as a display of skill, and I suppose it would be something just like a flashy appearance or something like that. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know where I'm going. My head's messed. I'll keep reading. Tom Crosby said, without trying to sound pretentious as hell, Robert Houdin said the magic is of no importance. Jemay updated it to say the magic is of no importance only when it stops being completely essential. I think starting out, just being able to do tricks is the important bit, but once the tricks become second nature, then the character comes into it. And a few other people have said similar things, it starts with the tricks. And I think that's the thing to take away from this. I think when people say it's all about the character, I outright disagree with that. Because if you could be the funniest, nicest bloke ever, if you walked up to a table and just pulled your thumb off, that booker won't feel like they've got value for money in booking a magician. So
That's my opener.
But
No, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I wouldn't. Maybe it's not 50-50. Excuse me. What? Maybe it's not 50-50. But
Yeah.
but it's got to be about the tricks. You've got to be doing good tricks. You know.
Yeah, I think people get into magic for the tricks themselves, you know, and
Yeah.
then it's from there. It's finding what you like, your style, and then taking your character and putting it to that style of magic, and then you create the whole. So.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. A few people have said that it's a circle. You know, the character.
Yeah, it depends what style. Like talking about what style you're going for and stuff like that. It took me ages to find what I liked. You know, people say, "Oh, do you like cards or coins?" Or I'd spent an absolute fortune before that point, buying all sorts of different material and trying it and just seeing what I liked myself. Because I've always been fooled by stuff on like watching the promos and stuff like that, and you go, right, I'm having that. What else can I buy? And then you just buy loads of stuff and you get it and you go, oh, is that it?
I went through that as well. I don't really like the term my character because I don't really feel like I have one. I just think it's like a slightly accentuated me. But the way I present a lot of my magic is that I don't really know how it's done. Like you know what I mean? I don't really do the display of skill. I do the, I don't know either. It's weird, isn't it? That's kind of... So for that reason, I don't do any coin magic because I think it's really difficult to present coin magic in any other way than a very sort of elegant display of skill. Do you know what I mean?
That's a good point.
So I think sort of But that's for me is how like character is sort of developed through content. Sorry, is developed through character because it just doesn't really fit me. So.
How is one of us typing without moving our hands? I can hear somebody.
Moving my feet and multitasking.
It's my robot. I told you, it's a robot.
Elliot Bibby says, I personally feel that as a beginner, you're trying to find your way in magic, so the tricks are more important. As you grow in the world of magic, though, and you learn, you have to focus all the attention on yourself and your performance or character. And then he goes on to say more, but Jordan, when he copied these over into the show notes, didn't press the see more button on Facebook. So we'll never know what Elliot goes on to say.
That is professionalism right there.
Professional it is, and that is what I want. Dan Burgess has said, character. I've seen people doing amazing stuff who are boring as my socks. Actually, I've got Captain America ones on today, so ignore that. I've seen Phil Partridge destroy with a nudist deck. Character is the most important. If you're asking for somebody starting out, then probably the content as good tricks will at least give any booker a feeling of value for money. Your confidence and therefore character will grow as you progress. That's kind of what I was getting back to before. You can't just walk over and do, coin behind the ear, and I'm trying to think of like simplistic tricks, and I'm being purposely facetious with it. But if you didn't do very impressive magic, I still feel like they wouldn't be getting a magician. They would be getting a walk around comedian that just doesn't exist, and there's a reason it doesn't exist. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So and finally, Paul Longhurst has said, "Hiya." Hi, Paul. I think it's...
Was that it?
I think it was just passing. It's primarily about you and your personality. Your effects need to hit the mark technically, but you must take people on a journey to get there, and that journey has to come from you. I believe a good magician needs to be a great communicator. Having said that, Dynamo has done quite well with his unemotional approach, so what do I know? No offence intended. And I don't think you're actually having a dig at Dynamo there, but I think when we think of personality or character, we ultimately have to go to the funny, charismatic guy, and it doesn't have to be. That doesn't have to be the character. The character can be the more subdued. The other thing I think... Go on, Dave.
No, I was saying and that brings us back round again, full circle to, if the character suits the tricks suit the character, then... you've got it.
So
it's working.
Maybe not 50-50. I think character probably, on a whole, is probably a little bit more important than the tricks. But I don't agree with the character is the be all. I think it's a mix of both. Paul there mentions, that the tricks have to hit the mark technically. I hope what you mean there, Paul, is that they hit a good reaction, Not that the tricks have to be actually technically impressive. You know what I mean? Because
They don't, do they?
I've seen guys work with Svengali decks and and kill. So yeah, I don't think they have to be technically impressive, but I do think they have to hit the mark as a good effect.
Yeah.
Definitely. Good. Any other thoughts on that?
No, I think we've covered everything, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's quite it's your personal opinion, isn't it? Really, but I do think definitely work on the character as well as the magic. Don't do one over the other.
Yeah. I think there's another question that I've got bubbling in my head. I'm not quite ready how to word it, but I think next week's question is going to be something about character to do with to what extent is your character different to you, if that makes sense. Because like I say, mine is very much, it's just kind of me, really. It might be a little bit accentuated and maybe a little bit more cocky, but there is, I don't...
Look at people like Matthew Wright when he puts his hat on.
Exactly,
That's what he
that's
said,
it, yeah. And I know like Mel Mellors talks very much about when those glasses go on, that's it, then he becomes Mel Mellors, and it's very different. It's incredibly accentuated to what he's like in real life. So yeah, I think there's a question there. I'm not quite sure how to word it, but keep an eye on the Facebook page, and that'll be next week's question. I think is something to do with
that's cool.
An extent of character. Yeah. All right, cool. Talking to Facebook, you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/deception podcast. I can't remember which one it is. It's Deception Podcast. You can find us on Twitter at Deception Magic. There we go. You can find us individually on Twitter. I'm at Jonti Sparrow.
I'm at Jordan O'Grady.
And I'm at Dave Loosley.
And I'm pressing the wrong button. Excuse me. Dave, and Alakazam has a Twitter account as well, does it?
Yes. It's got Alakazam in it.
It's Alakazam Magic.
Alakazam Magic, I believe, yeah. But you'll find us all on Facebook as well, and get the app.
And that's on iPhone, Android.
Well, it's on iPhone at the moment, Android in a couple of weeks.
Windows Phone, BlackBerry.
Yeah.
Palm Pilot. You put it, yeah. All right, cool. Right, thanks for joining us, Dave, and thanks for listening and watching at home, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye, guys.
This show is part of the Geekism Network. For more information on this and other shows, visit geekism-network.com.